I wanted to bring AI SDK right into my macOS application, which I am building through Electron JS, and I have successfully done it. Right now, my workflow was I was recording my video, then I was using one of my prompt, and then I was giving the subtitles, and at the same time, I was just getting the description, I was getting the title recommendation, and it has a lot of friction. It used to take a lot of time, but right now, I have figured out a one workflow. I have already built a lightweight video editor, which actually to the animated subtitles, and since it is generating subtitles, then I can use that subtitles to generate description and titles. So I will show you how it works. So this is the AI settings. Don't comment on the UI right now because it is just all vibe coded, and I wanted to get into functionality right into it. So you can see I have used three AI providers right now, that is Google AI, Anthropic, and OpenRouter. And why I am using an OpenRouter, because with OpenRouter I get many options to test. So right now I'm using Sonnet 4 because I use Sonnet 4 a lot in my coding tasks and everything. So you can see I can test the connection, and once the test connection is successful, I know that this AI will work. And you can see this is the description which I have given. Again, it uses a default prompt, but if you give your own prompt, that also works. So you can see I was using this prompt every time. So this is my prompt. So this is how it is. And for title, I'm not using any prompt. I will be using the default prompt. So let's save these settings and go to the AI content. So I have actually tested this item earlier, and I have saved this to project. But you can always generate a new description, generate a new titles, so you can see how it works. And if you want to export the SRT file, you can export the SRT file, which SRT file you can upload it to YouTube as well. And you can see I can do that. And if I do show in Finder, I get the SRT. So this is the SRT file which it is generating. So this is how helpful this particular application is. And if I go to generate description, let's do it in front of you guys. So again, it is using Claude Sonnet in the background. So it takes time. I'm just using the generate text function, not the stream text. So the result will come in the end after all the process. So you can see how long this text is. So it will take time to generate this. If I use stream text, it would have been easier. So you can see this time a different description was generated. Obviously, there are some issues. For example, in the end, I had a call to action which is not trending at this particular time. So again, I have to generate this description if I want to, or I can just give my call to action. So you can see that there are different timestamps. So you can see timestamp is generated. Again, the timestamps are not calculated using Python function. It is just an estimation, and it is done by LLM. So there would be some mistakes every time a timestamp is generated. So assume that 90% time the timestamp would be correct, 10% time the timestamp would be wrong. So my workflow is I delete the last timestamp and I leave it as it is so that it doesn't exceed the video's length. That is up to you. And once this is done, you can generate the titles. So description is needed when you are generating titles. So again, this will give me new title recommendation. And again, you can see character lengths, which is optimal, which is too long, which is short. So you can see how I found the best Versalia SDK template, game changer. Why Versalia Marketplace is perfect for developers in 2024. Again, Cloud is trained to for 2024 data. So you can change it as per your load. And if I want to save this to project, I can save this to project, and I can reference it later. And again, this type of editor actually give me option whether I want the subtitles or not. So this is the new feature which I have added. So you can see it is using subtitles. So here I was not using. Okay, I was using subtitles. So you can see I can burn in subtitles. I can choose not to. So if I choose not to, this will not be entered in the export file. So what happens is that in the final recommendation, I don't want, for example, from here or maybe from here, I don't want the subtitle to appear. So at that time, I can just hide the this option, and I can apply to all if I want to. So you can see this apply style to all subtitles that you can do. So this is all related to subtitles. So why not use subtitles for other operations with AI is there. So this is what I have done. Now let's come to the implementation which I have done, which you will get in the GitHub repository as well. But let's understand how we have done this. So again, I have used plot code, cursor, mixture of both. So I will just show you the implementation directly. So this is the AI services, AI service, which is the like main logic behind this application. So you can see I am using AI SDK, AI SDK, AI SDK, and then AI SDK, and I have defined some types. So you can see I have defined one AI model type. Then caption segment is not needed for the AI SDK, but again AI settings I'm using what type of settings I want to use. So these are these items, and you can see it is that modal which we have created. So if you go to this, so this AI content, whatever this modal contains, the logic is embedded in here. So you can see I've the cloud code has created classes. So again, it is getting the instance. It is using settings and how to get settings. Then the provider. This is the main function which we have to use. So obviously the provider which we have selected earlier, we have that will be referenced here. So you can see model ID is referenced and what type, what model, as well as the provider. So you can see if it is Anthropic, it needs Anthropic is API key. If it is Google, Google's API key is required, and OpenRouter API key, and everything is local. So whatever AI call I am doing directly to the AI provider, not through my proxy server. So this is one of the benefits you will get when you are using this open source Lightweight video editor. And you can see again for Anthropic there are default models. So if for example if I miss to give any default model, this default model will be rendered. So this is so you can get the available models, and if it is Anthropic, get the Anthropic model. If it is Google, Google models, and OpenRouter's model. And for OpenRouter, we are using dynamic models. So you can see I am fetching the models from the OpenRouter directly, and I'm again using my bearer token. And you can see this is the response I am getting, and I'm mapping that response to my AI providers. That's why you can see a lot of list when I am using this AI provider. So if I, for example, change Google AI, and right now I have to give my obviously the AI code I don't have in my vicinity. So you can see if I go with OpenRouter now, it is loading the models, and you can see the models here. So this is what I wanted to tell. Now let's come to the main function, that is generate description and generate titles. So you can see I am getting the provider first from the provider function. After getting the provider, I am getting this RT content, that is the subtitles, and I'm using that subtitles as a captions. And you can see this is the default prompt which I have given. If this is something which I don't want to use, I can give my custom prompt or description prompt which it can get from the settings or the default prompt. So there are three options, and you can see the final prompt is prompt like this and subtitles are like this. And you can see I'm using the generate text function, and the model again for the provider I have to give the prompt, that is the final prompt which I want to give, the max tokens, the temperature, and I'm returning the text, and I'm rendering that text from where I'm calling that AI service of this generate description. And same goes with this title. Again, I'm defining the provider, defining the prompt. Once final prompt is generated, I'm using that final prompt, provided the max tokens and the temperature. And you can see how am I, like I will get some titles in bullet points, something like that. So I'm cleaning up that title. So this is what we have to do. And you can see this is how we have done. If you don't have 4 titles, generate some fallbacks. So again, this is not something we should do, but we are doing it so that it doesn't break the user experience. And for the test connection, we are saying say connection text successful. So what happens is that I made a successful connection to OpenRouter, but some models like Cohen, Gemini, they are very, like they get very high traffic because they are free models, and since they get very high traffic, our response get delayed, or our response is written with internal error. And when that happens, even though our connection was successful, that happens, that breaks the flow. and that's why I am using prompt. So this is again not the recommended method, but this is what you can do to test connection. So it uses max 10 tokens only. So if you do this, you will get the AI service completely rendered. And again, we have the project manager where basically we are making sure that all our projects are saved. So earlier it was like I was clicking on the save project and that project was getting saved as a save as new project. But I've worked upon that part. So this is the new updates you will get. So this is it. This is what I want to tell how you can use AI SDK. See, if I would have not used AI SDK, I had to like define different base URL, different curl statement to type like conversion, or maybe use the default AI SDK like the SDK provided by the OpenAI, provided by the Gemini like Google team, provided by the OpenRouter. But using AI SDK streamlines all the items into one place. Internally, it uses the base URL calls and something like that. So this is where things get interesting. And this is how you can use AI SDK right into your macOS application. Again, AI SDK is supported in the TypeScript ecosystem, JavaScript ecosystem, and the like in that ecosystem. I'm not aware whether it is extendable to other applications or not. But if you're using TypeScript, then obviously use this particular application. And for the API keys, just ask user to put it on their behalf. And for example, if you want to build something in which you don't want user to give OpenAI API keys or something like that, you can use your own proxy server. So whatever request goes, it goes through your request, like through your server, and you return the response. So that is one solution which you can implement. And if you want to give user the full control, full autonomy, then you can ask user to give API keys in the system, like the software itself, the application itself, like this. This is it, and this is what I wanted to give an update that you can use AI SDK in applications. And I will see you in the next video with another type of application. And see you in the next video, guys. Bye.